Hello, Aquarius. Elsie here to do a reading for you. It's for the week ahead. Aquarius, how are you? How are you, my Aquas? I hope you're well. Thanks for gathering here. Thanks for clicking here. I appreciate you. We are going to start this reading with oracles. We're reading from the Places Oracle first, and then we're going to go into a 9-card draw. So thanks for clicking here. If you can find it in your heart to hit the thumbs up, that would be great. That's how we're building this Aquarius tribe here. That's how you're building the Aquarius tribe. I can only do so much, but you got to help me with it as well. So thanks so much for doing that. If you are somebody who has been here before and you've come back, thanks for coming back. I hope that you've subscribed. And if you're someone who is subscribed and you are my ride or die, thanks for coming back here. I appreciate you. At the end of this video, by the way, I'm going to tell you how to find the extendeds. I'm also going to tell you about private readings. And we're going to read from this deck first. Let's find out what's going on for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. And everything's falling about. I am not diving for those cards. I don't give a damn what they are on the floor. They didn't want to stay in my hand for a reason. Let's find out what's going on here. We've got, ooh, you're at a crossroads. Ooh, okay, interesting. You're at the crossroads. Look, this workplace thing keeps coming up. No matter where I put it in the deck, it keeps coming up. Shuffle, and it keeps showing. Okay, listen. Aquarius, this is the most Aquarius 3-card spread that I've seen. Feels like you're at a crossroads here. I'm going to say that you're at a crossroads. It says multiple paths. It's a turning point, and some of these roads are divergent. So it feels like all of these roads are crossing each other. It could be a little bit confusing about how you're taking in the information, but it feels like you are at a crossroads in your life at this time, or you might be in the week ahead, where you have to make a decision with precision. Look at that. Very interesting. Because Aquarius, you know, and I mean, this is no diss or anything. It's just fact that you just make decisions intellectually, right? That you are a person who's just going to say it and then let everyone else around you sort it out, because you're speaking the truth. You're not speaking it to hurt somebody, but you are speaking it as fact because it's a fact that you know. So I feel like in the frigid realm, it tells me that you have an icy delivery, or that that you go to polar extremes. And I would say that maybe you make your decision, you blurt it out, you say it in a way that's very surgical, maybe a little bit cutting, and then you backtrack and go, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to say it that harsh. So we have the desert. There's no water in the desert, right? And the water is what is going to soften your delivery. It says arid landscapes, dunes and sands, endless horizons. I'm going to remind you that, look, everybody knows you get to be who you want to be. We can't change people or expect that they're going to change for us. Nobody can expect you to change in order to fit into their world. But I will say this, say what you're going to say, but understand that there are consequences, right? There are consequences, right? Having no water present, you could be someone who is all sorts. Let me know, because I've never come across such a sun, moon, or rising. But it feels like you could be someone who is like sun and rising is probably swords. Maybe you have some earth in the moon, but it feels like you don't have any water energy to deal with. So I feel like the reason that you say what you say and the way that you say it is because you're at a crossroads in your life that you know that you don't care about the losses. What you care about is the truth. So I feel like regardless of what the losses might end up being and the arid desert in which you might have to deal with, there is a snake here. You could get bit. I feel like that you are going to say something or do something because you're at a crossroads and you know you have to cut one of these paths out and take another. It says multiple paths. So it feels like you're choosing one path and not everybody's going to agree with it, but you're going to say, I don't really care if you like what this is about. I'm going to do it because I'm going to do it, and that's it. Let's do this here. Let's get a deck. Let's find out what else is going on for you, Aquarius. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Oh yeah, we should look at this workplace thing. It could be a workplace thing. You could be a business owner deciding you're going to sell the business and the family doesn't agree. You could be a person who's been putting so much work into work that you don't have any time for yourself. It could be a workspace thing. Maybe you're moving your business, but possibly you could be leaving a business. We have the living room. Oh, look, maybe you're working at home and you're working too much. That tends to happen. I work at home and sometimes I tend to work too much because reading isn't the only thing I do in my day, right? I feel like you need to check in with your spiritual self with that church card at the bottom here, but I think we could be talking about a decision you're about to make in terms of work. Maybe deciding to leave the job that you're in. Maybe you're going to just leave it by cutting it and saying, you know what, I won't be in on Monday, and don't expect me on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday either. It feels like somebody here is doing something that is very dry, very sharp, frigid, cold, and it's because you've reached a crossroads where you just don't give a shit. Let's find out what's going on for you, Aquarius. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Okay, so we've got the Eight of Swords, the famous up in your head. Look, you are the overthinker, right? Well, I mean, anybody can be an overthinker, but it's really hardest for the air signs. And honestly, more than Gemini, I think you overthink more than Gemini does. We've got the High Priestess energy here. So there is something here that I feel you are trapped in the mind about what to do, what to say, how to do it. When am I going to do it? I feel like you're trying to make a plan in your mind, so you are a prisoner of your mind at this point. I feel like the answer is within your intuition, though, but I also feel like you're being very silent about the plan that you're about to execute here. You're not telling anybody about the plan. The High Priestess is telling me, use your intuition. Make the best decisions that is going to nourish your soul. It might be a little bit of a dicey situation because it could involve dealing with people or a person that you've deeply bonded to. Emotional connection could be the reason that you pull away, because you're not interested in the emotional connection. I feel like this Two of Cups energy makes me feel as though, I'm going to say that you feel like nobody understands you. I'm just looking at Cancer energy, and look, you can get into a room with Cancer, and Cancer will go around the room and talk to everybody and get to know a little bit about everybody. But as Cancer exits the room, people are like, did anybody catch Cancer's name? Do you know anything about Cancer? Like, it feels like that. It feels like you need to listen to your intuition and get out of your head and execute your plan. But I think that the reason that you're being careful is because I feel as though you have deepened a bond with somebody that you don't really feel bonded to emotionally, if that makes sense. So I feel like you're about to make a decision, which is a very dry and cold delivery. Tell me more. We've got the Seven of Wands. You're in your head because you're blocked. I think you're about to stand up for yourself and remove a block here. When Aquarius goes silent, that's something you should worry about. For those of you who have little children or you've had little children, as long as you can hear them screaming and fighting in the next room, you're good. But it's when it goes silent that you got to worry a little bit. Yep, there it is. When it starts to go silent, there's something going on under the surface. And I feel like something is about to shift. I feel like you are about to change your mind about a situation. I feel like you're finally going to make your decision, but I think it's going to be abrupt, understand? And I was getting that from this as well, but now with the Seven of Wands and the Tower, it feels like somebody stands up from the dinner table and flips the dinner table. It feels, I don't think you're going to do that, understand? It's metaphoric, of course, but it feels like it's abrupt. I'm going to stand up and it's going to be abrupt. And it's like something that's not foreign to you because you've been thinking about it. You've been coming to terms with a plan, coming to terms with whatever it was you're going to do, but you're doing it under silence and nobody else is aware. No one else around you is connected to your mind, so they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what you're doing. I think you like it that way. It reminds me of when I was pregnant with my son, and it's like, my husband didn't really get it until he was holding the baby that he was going to be a dad. But I was connected to the baby the whole time, so I knew, right? But it's not really real until it's external, and by the time it's external, the tower has finally fallen here. We've got the Nine of Cups. I feel like you are standing up for yourself and putting up some boundaries between you and a person or other people. It's a shift of how you feel about something. And it feels like you're doing this or making this decision so you can get yourself back in alignment. We've got the Knight of Cups. It almost is like somebody, like when you show your emotions finally, somebody takes advantage of that and says, oh, now I can play with Aquarius's emotions. And you're like, no. That's why I don't show my emotions on the surface very often. The Knight of Cups is here. We've got the Chariot in the reverse. Oh, interesting. putting the brakes on something that is either romantic or emotional, or getting clarity on something you didn't have clarity about. I feel like there was something here that you were wavering on or waffling on, or, the Two of Pentacles, right? It's sort of like here and there, making a decision. I know I've got to make a decision. The thing is that I feel like you were here quietly, sort of in a prisoner of the mind, overthinking everything, because I think that you wanted to do it in a way that was a clean cut, but it feels like when this decision happens, you can't go back on this decision. So I feel as though you're doing it quickly, because doing it slowly and letting everybody know what the plan is up to the moment that the plan is executed would be too painful for them. But I feel like you kept it inside or kept quiet until the moment where you stood up and flipped the table. And I think this is the sneak attack of Aquarius. Please don't ever underestimate Aquarius. They see everything. They understand what's going on. They are watching you. And by the time they stand up and flip the table, it's because they already know what's going on. They've done the homework. They've got all the details. They've figured you out by watching you. They may have figured you out a month ago, and now they're just getting up to flip the table. So I feel like you have to get up and flip the table, or stand up for yourself and shift everything in the room. That's the only way that you're going to become in alignment. I feel like, this Nine of Cups showing up tells me that you have built, it's like, I don't really need this situation in order to be happy. I've really built my own happiness. It feels like here you're putting the brakes on something. I really do feel like somebody got you to bring your feelings to the surface, got to know you intimately. Intimacy has nothing to do with what's between the sheets, by the way. Somebody got to know you in depth, felt like they knew you intimately, and I feel like that made you feel vulnerable. It could be the Knight of Cups. It made you feel vulnerable, but it feels like somebody tried to, somebody thought they had you figured out. And look, you're never going to figure out Aquarius. Just when you think you've figured out Aquarius is going to flip the script. So I feel like this Knight of Cups and the Chariot tells me you put the brakes on something. You make a decision to put the brakes on something emotional. Feels like it could be dating someone. It could be a relationship. It could be a friendship. It feels like it's somebody you've deepened a bond with, and now that person thinks that they can play with you because that bond is deepened. And it feels like it could be a romantic bond for some of you. You're making a decision to put the brakes on that. That's what it feels like here. Bottom of the deck is the Ace of Cups. So it feels like you're putting the brakes on something emotional because you've reached a crossroad where you've realized something. I feel like this realization has come into play between this Eight of Swords and the High Priestess energy, is what it feels like. You've been quietly contemplating something within the mind, overthinking it, wondering how you should execute the plan. Tell me what the High Priestess is hiding. It's like there's a secret or something that you're keeping secret. If you have knowledge on something, and you're going to be doing the thing that is best for you now. Tell me about the High Priestess. We've got the Justice card in the reverse. Look, you can't play. If you looking in on this, you can't play with Aquarius. The Justice card is in the reverse. You will get no justice. Because just because Aquarius isn't mentioning it, isn't saying it, it doesn't mean they haven't noticed it or clocked it. Tell me about justice in the reverse. There is something that's in imbalance here. Something that you feel, Aquarius, that you're not getting any justice with. And it feels like you have not said that. You're keeping it to yourself for now, but you're thinking about it over and over again. Look at that. It was on the bottom of the deck. It made its way to the top. We've got the Ace of Cups here. And we've got the Queen of Wands. So I feel as though the thing that you're keeping quiet is that you realize that this is not your permanent place of rest. It feels as though you're not getting justice emotionally here. And I feel as though it's time for you to make a big, bold move and just walk through the fire. Now look, the Queen of Wands is somebody who's been hurt a lot before. Somebody who has been set afire and has walked out of the flames untouched, is resilient, and has bounced back. I feel like you've been quietly, possibly viewing someone from a distance, And you know that this person is not the one for you. Look, when I see the Queen of Wands in a reading like this, it feels like this person is playing you. I don't always see the Queen of Wands as a player, but it feels like this person is like, knows that they're good looking, trying to attract others. You know, there are people like that. It doesn't matter if they're married or in a relationship. They always just have to have attention. And so that's what the energy of the Queen of Wands is giving me. That you're not getting any justice in the Ace of Cups because the Queen of Wands is attracting everyone and everything. And it doesn't matter if they do. It just that this person is giving their emotional depth to everyone. They think they can play. They think that they can just do what they want because now they've got you where they want you. And I don't think that's the deal. I think that this Seven of Wands tells me that you're about to stand up for yourself and flip the script here. We've got the Four of Swords. Yes, you are quietly and slowly finding clarity of the mind. You've gotten over the hurt. You've noticed it. You've clocked it. And you've gotten over the hurt. And now you're already on the way to healing. But you're trying to figure out how to stand up and put your boundaries up. How are you going to do that? Five of Swords. It's going to start with an argument. You are going to come up with very pointed information. Tuesday at 3 o'clock, you were with so-and-so, and I saw you go with so-and-so. I saw you get out of your car and go to the bar. You told me that you were out shopping with your friends. Like, it feels like you clock somebody. And the Five of Swords is fundamental differences. You lied to me. You told me this thing, and you went against that thing. And you're not ever going to make me feel like it was an okay thing to do. So I feel like the 5 and the 4 is the 9. All of a sudden, we've got worry on the mind about how do I say it? Because it's going to cause a fight. How do I say it? I just got to say it. Oh, God. Knight of Swords, Gemini energy. Look, Gemini has the ability to think ahead of everybody else, read the room, read between the lines. And Gemini knows they shouldn't say it, but they're going to bloody say it. And that's the truth. Gemini is just going to say it. Gemini can go from calm, cool, collected to boom, in your face and arguing with you about whatever's in the Five of Swords in a second. In a second. And it's the duality of Gemini, right? So I feel like you're just going to say it. Your person's going to come home, or the person that you know is going to be in your space, and the person's going to say, oh yeah, the other night when I went out with so-and-so and we were shopping, you're like, yeah, you were shopping? Well, that's not what your pin said. That's not what your friend said. That's not what I saw when I was in the parking lot. I saw you go into the bar. I didn't see you go into the grocery store. Tell you about the Nine of Cups. We've got the Page of Cups in the reverse. No surprise here, friends. Nope. You are not surprised at the betrayal. Look, I feel like you're at the end of something. And this could be calling out a friend. This could be calling out a member of your workspace. This could be calling out a business partner. This could be anything that I feel that somebody's gotten close to you and feels like they know you well enough that they can play you. I feel like the Nine of Cups is you getting back into your realignment and realizing that your happiness is you. You are the one that decides your happiness, and you can never count on the people around you to provide you with happiness. I feel like the Page of Cups in the reverse tells me that that you're not surprised. You're not surprised that somebody here betrayed you and that you have to move on. But I think you are doing it for the purpose of you being in alignment with self. I think that you are done with the workplace. I feel like you are coming out in this frigid realm because you've reached a crossroads where now I have to make a decision because I can't unsee what I already saw. And I feel like you're doing it without water. What I mean by that is without cups. You're not softening your delivery. You're just going to say it. Tell me why the Chariot's in the reverse. Because I feel like you're putting the brakes on something here. The Knight of Cups, possibly. This could be a romantic connection. This could be something that you've allowed to go on for a while, taken a lot of detours. Maybe someone that you are an emotional balance with, possibly. But someone who felt like they could take advantage of that. We've got the Lovers. It's your choice to put the brakes on. Why is that? Because you spotted a liar. Your bullshit detector went off. And it was too loud to ignore. And there you are. So you're going to do the best thing for yourself. The star here tells me I need to heal from the lies. And I feel like I need to make a choice to put the brakes on this. The thing is that I feel like you come out of nowhere with all the receipts. And say, you told me 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday at 3 o'clock that you were going out with somebody. and you were going to this place, when in fact I see that on the visa receipt, that's not where you went at all. So I feel like you're making a decision that you can't go back on. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I feel like you're making a point, and I feel like you bring things back into balance here, but it's going to be harsh, man. We're going to talk all about that in the extended, because you're bringing it all to light. Everything is coming out. I feel like you're revealing something. You're revealing all the receipts. I've been watching you the whole time, and I feel like you're catching someone who either maybe they said, look, I don't have enough money for rent. Can you lend me the rent? And then all of a sudden you see them with a new Birkin bag. It feels like you gave money to someone, or gave them your time, effort, or energy, or money, or you gave them some advice on health. It feels like something is about to be revealed to you as it pertains to the Queen of Wands and how you were building with this person. I don't think that once the Judgment is here, I feel like this opportunity has come round and round and round again, but you're like, no, they wouldn't do that, would they? They know that they can't play with me, right? Like, it feels like that. So the Judgment card is here, and the King of Cups is here. You just kept it under the surface. You knew what was going on all the time, but I think this time, when Judgment shows up, you're going to say it. I'm going to go to the extended. If you want to come to the extended to see how this works out, we're going to talk about all these things. We're going to talk about whether or not it's the workplace. We're going to talk about what happens when the tower falls, because I have a feeling it's going to be all out chaos. Let's go into the extended. If you want to come there, please look at above the comments. There's one pinned comment. Click on read more. You will see there's a link there to the membership area, which is where all the extendeds go. You will get 4 extendeds for every one sign that you're watching for in a month. If you're interested in having a private read, if this sounds like something that's going on with you, if you are interested in a private read, then please take a look at the Hypsee link. You'll see that my readings begin at $25. They go up from there if you're interested in a pre-recorded reading. If you're interested in a private reading, between 5 and 75% off for getting me on the phone live or video or in chat. If you want to do any of that, then go take a look at the links. I'm going to go for now into the extended. If you're there, great. And if you're not, that's all right too. I'll be there, but I'll be back, because I'm always back. Take care of yourselves, Aquarius. Bye-bye.